What I want to do is remind everybody first, wash your hands, soap and water. I always wash my hands, soap and water before we get started. As we know, COVID's out there, but let's wash our hands always before we cook. And go ahead and turn on your oven to 350 degrees so it starts warming up. So what we're going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera. You guys won't see me anymore. I know I look great in my beautiful, ugly sweater.
You too.
Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera. I want to make sure everybody can see this. If you're having issues seeing the video, please let Rich, Bridget, or myself know, even Kristen. So this is what we're going to do today, guys. On this side over here on the leaded snow plate, we have gooey butter cake cookies. On this side, we have whoopie pie cookies. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you have an electric mixer, go ahead and get that ready. If you're using a hand mixer, go ahead and get a bowl with your hand mixer. If you're doing it by hand, bless your heart. That's all I'm going to say. We say it down in the South. We're mixing today. So the very first thing we're going to go ahead and do is for your mixer, go ahead and use this attachment right here. It's not a whisk, but we're going to use this attachment. The reason is we're going to make almost like a sugar cookie dough right now. We're going to go ahead and start with 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese. So we're going to go ahead and put the 8-ounce package of cream cheese right into the mixer. I'm going to move this mixer into the center here so you guys can see. Let me move it over a little bit. Oh, there we go. How's that? Better?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So go ahead and add your cream cheese, which is 8 ounces. You're going to add half a cup of unsalted butter, which is 1 stick of butter if you bought stick butter. This should be pre-softened, like it said in the recipe. If it's not softened, go ahead and pop them in the microwave for about 15 seconds at a time until they're softened. We're going to go ahead and do this. And if you guys, this is not a race. If you're ahead, go ahead and be ahead. If you're a little behind, please let us know so you can catch up. And then we're going to add 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. So we're just going to go ahead and put that in the mixer. We're going to go ahead and always start your mixer on low, so it gets incorporated first, and then we'll turn it up. So once that sugar and butter starts mixing together, go ahead and turn up your mixer a little bit. If you have an electric mixer, go ahead and turn that, or a hand mixer, go ahead and turn that up. If you're doing it by hand, just keep going. So we want to cream that together. We want to make sure all the sugar and butter and cream cheese gets incorporated. So what we're doing while that's mixing, what go ahead and do is go ahead and get your eggs. You're going to use 2 eggs, and then you're going to use some almond extract. So what you want to do for when this incorporates, can you guys still hear me? I know I'm talking kind of loud.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. So what we want to do after this cream,
Want to come up?
add our 2 eggs. We're going to go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of almond extract. So while this is mixing, I'll show you guys here in a minute. I always, when it's about halfway, I kind of like to take my spatula and kind of give it a good stir, get all the ingredients from the bottom. If you don't do that, sometimes what happens is you'll get some lumpy cookies. No one likes lumpy cookies. So give it a good stir, turn it back on, put it on there for about another minute or so until it creams up. What we're doing is we're actually making a cake batter, right? A cake batter cookie. A lot of recipes that you'll see out there actually use yellow cake batter. I didn't just want to use yellow cake batter. I wanted you guys to actually make almost a batter here. So I just want to check and make sure we don't have any questions in the chat. Looks like we're all good. All right. So this is creamed together. We're going to go ahead and put it off. We're going to go ahead and add our 2 eggs. Make sure you don't add any of the shell. So 1 egg. 2 eggs. And then we want to go ahead and add a teaspoon of almond extract. So we're just going to go ahead and add it right in there. All right. And then we're going to turn the mixer back on. We're going to let it do its thing for a couple minutes here. Make sure not to turn it on too high like I almost did. I almost spewed it everywhere there. Anytime that you use raw product like eggs, we always want to wash our hands again before we touch anything else. So make sure to wash your hands after cracking the eggs. Salmonella carries very easily on eggshells, so we want to make sure we don't transfer that to our family and friends. How's everybody doing? Can I get a couple thumbs up? Everybody okay? Yeah? All right. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in chat. So once again, we're going to go ahead and stop the mixer. As this is mixing, you'll notice it's going to start becoming almost like a cake batter, right? So that's what we want. We want it to be a little fluffy, have a little bit of peak in it. So we want to go ahead and just finish that off here. Just let that go ahead and finish. While that finishes, what we want to go ahead and do is go ahead and get our flour. So for our flour, we're going to use 2.5 cups of flour. All-purpose flour is the flour we're going to use, not self-rising, not anything crazy like that, just some all-purpose flour. We want to make sure to sift the flour if you have a sifter. It's important that we sift flour because when flour is shipped, when the humidity hits it, it becomes clumpy. If you've ever opened up a bag of flour and it's clumpy, it's because it's the humidity in it. Also, from time to time, there can be little bugs in the flour. So we want to just go ahead and make sure we sift it.
Hey, Edgar, quick question.
Yeah.
Should you sift flour for every baking recipe you do, or is it just unique to this?
So in culinary school, they taught us that we should actually sift flour for everything that we do. So we want to make sure that when we sift you want to make sure that the flour is nice and fine looking like this is, right? Also, here's a fun tip. If you ever make homemade pancakes, make sure to sift all the ingredients, just like we do here. Not pre-mixed butter.
Good to know. Did not know that. Someone has a question in the chat. What consistency should the wet ingredients be?
Like, should there be any sort of peak coming off of anything, or should it be
not so much peak. You want to start looking like this, where it's kind of a cake batter, where it kind of just droops down like this, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Yes?
Thank you.
Not a problem. All right, so now that we have our base for our cookies, we have our flour. We're gonna go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of baking powder to our flour. So I wanna also show you guys, when you're measuring out for baking, I got a fun story I'll tell you here in a second, but when you're measuring out for baking, you always wanna make sure you measure out and you level out your measurements, just like that. So we want to go ahead and add that right in there. And then what we want to go ahead and do is we want to go ahead and add just a pinch of salt, or in this case, it's a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'll show you what I do with my salt. I just take a little shaker and I do 2 shakes. 1, 2. That's about 1/2 teaspoon. So what we want to go ahead and do is we want to go ahead and add this to our wet now, right? So we're going to take our dry ingredients and add it to our wet ingredients. So just go ahead and I just dump it all in. Some people tell you take, a little bit at a time. I just dump it all in. It's going to get incorporated either way. So once again, guys, very important, start your mixer really, really low on this. And what we want to do is we want to mix this just until it incorporates together. That's all we want to do. We don't want to overmix it, because if you overmix it, your cookies will come out really hard. So we just want to go ahead and give it a good mix for about a minute or so. Rich, do we have any other questions? I'm trying to keep up.
Another question that goes with the flour. Is it over mixing for every recipe, or is it just for this one? Or can you actually over mix for other baking extravaganzas as well?
Yeah, great question. So yes, you can overmix anything, right? So when you overmix, what happens is the gluten in it actually starts getting harder. So when I just did this for about 30 seconds, 35 seconds, as you can see, it kind of looks like a sugar dough cookie batter now, right? It's a little loose, and that's fine, but that's all we want to do is just incorporate it. So we don't want to overmix it. We just want to mix it until it incorporates. And then what we want to go ahead and do, let me put that here. We just want to go ahead and put it in a bowl. We're going to put it in the fridge for about 15 to 20 minutes, even 30 minutes. So it goes ahead and starts incorporating a little bit better, so we can go ahead and scoop it and roll it in powdered sugar before we put it in the oven. So do we have any questions?
No questions I see in the chat, but if you have a question for Chef Edgar, please just unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
Are we going to use the mixer for the next recipe? Otherwise, I'll
We
use.
are. So I always give people about 5 minutes to go ahead, or 4 minutes to go ahead and wash the mixer and then put everything in the fridge. So we'll have a little bit of time. I give everybody a little bit chance to catch up. I always got to remember, I got to slow down. I did this for a living. So like I go like 1,000,000 miles per hour. So if I'm going too fast, let us know. So once you have this in a bowl, go ahead and take out your plastic wrap. Just cover it up with plastic wrap. And then we're going to put it right in the refrigerator for about 20, 25, 30 minutes. And this dough will actually stay good for a couple days. So if you don't want to make all the cookies today and you want to bake some fresh cookies tomorrow, you can always do that as well. At this point too, if you wanted to freeze this, you can actually freeze it.
Oh, that's good.
Or you can freeze it into individual portions. So if you
That's a great idea.
Yeah, so if you wanted to save some for Christmas, or, if you just are like me, where I'm the only one in the house that eats all the cookies. I got 2 wonderful kids, but they don't eat a lot of sweets, and my wife doesn't either. I always freeze a little bit, and then when I want a fresh cookie, I just got to turn on the oven and put the dough in there. So I'm gonna throw this in the fridge.
Hey, Edgar.
What is how much cookie is it gonna make?
So this will make about 12 big cookies or 24 medium small size cookies.
Hey, Edgar, I have a question.
Yes.
What happens if you don't use almond extract because of an allergy?
So
Sorry, I can't pronounce.
The almond extract's just gonna give it a little bit of flavor. You can always use a little bit of vanilla extract instead. Are you allergic to the almond? Is that what you're allergic to?
I'm not personally. My sister's allergic to tree nuts.
Okay, yeah. So I would just incorporate a little bit of vanilla extract. If not,
Okay.
It's really gonna get almost like a really sweet, floury cookie with no flavor.
Yeah.
I used anise extract.
Anise extract, that sounds great.
I haven't eaten them yet, but it looks
Yeah, you
good.
can always use, it's the holidays. You can use a little bit of mint extract is good. You can use a little bit of orange extract,
Ooh.
What about Kahlua?
Oh, I like some Kahlua.
Kahlua extract.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one at the store yet.
No, I could just make your own, I guess. Me, the person who does not drink, but that doesn't mean I won't cook with it.
Well, nowadays, they actually sell rum extract, which is non-alcoholic at the store.
Yep.
So, all right, I'm just over here doing some dishes real quick, washing my mixer. How's everybody doing?
Great, thank you.
Good.
I put green food coloring in mine because I wanted
Oh,
it
nice.
Christmassy.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yes.
Some gooey Grinch cookies.
Yeah.
Ah,
I wanted to put Heath bar bits, but I didn't know if that would mess up the recipe, so I didn't.
No, so that's actually really good. So what we're teaching you here is just the base cookie, right? So you're welcome to add any ingredients to this base recipe, right? The thing about it is
Okay.
mess up the consistency of the batter. So you don't want to add a wet ingredient to it, right? Too much of it, like a food dye is fine, but you don't want to add a ton of wet ingredients to it because then it'll mess up the consistency. But any dry ingredient, Heath bars, pecans, caramel is good because it's nice and thick, chocolate chips, anything you want to.
Ooh, pecans, that sounds good. Or as I say, pecans.
Oh, bless your heart.
Edgar,
Yes.
Edgar Trudy. Hey, guys. Now, don't get too wild with our gooey butter cake. We're very possessive about this. You can't get right you want it. You got to stick to stuff. But you can put a little lemon like instead of the vanilla, use a lemon flavor, and I've done lemon.
Cake mix. You talking about lemon cake mix?
So no, lemon, the lemon liquid.
Like the rind?
Yeah, lemon or a little bit of rind to get a
Yep.
little lemon cookie.
You talking about, are you talking about extract and also
Yeah.
Rind.
Extract or rind, but nothing too crazy. I don't know, I guess I just never had these with chocolate chips, but hey, knock yourself out. But we are possessive, but our gooey butter.
it kind of sounds like you need to go to Russell's. They put
Ooh,
theirs. It was
Russell's.
delicious.
Yep.
A question for you Midwesterns here. Do you know the history? Like, why is the gooey butter cake so unique to St. Louis? Is there like a little bit of backstory to it?
Someone else might know better, but I do know that it was kind of an accidental discovery.
Okay.
If memory serves me correctly, it was like something got thrown in by mistake or something baked wrong, but it turned into this delicious concoction that
It was made in 1930s by a St. Louis area German.
Ooh.
Hello. Jawohl.
Now, Edgar, when you take it out of the oven, because I made mine earlier so I could nap before the party and be awake. At 11 minutes, it looked not really done, so I did 13. Is it supposed to look wet, or is it better to do the 13?
Yeah, so especially when we go to bake these gooey butter cake, we don't want to overcook it. And I know Trudy can attest to this because she makes them. We just want to cook it until the tops look dry, right? So not over bake it. We just, like you said, 10 minutes or 11 minutes was a little too short. That's okay.
Yeah.
12 minutes, 13 minutes is fine. What we don't want to
Okay.
do for like another 5 minutes. We want to do it for about another 120 seconds until the
Yeah.
very top of the cookie is dry.
Okay, I think mine are like that. We'll see.
Perfect. All right, so while we're finishing up here with the gooey butter cake, I've transitioned over to the whoopie pies. So if you already measured everything, and start gathering that. And then we'll go ahead and get started on the whoopie pies. Now, a little bit about this event here. The one thing I ask everybody, it looks like everybody's having fun according to my camera. I don't see anybody like their house is burning down or anything yet. But if you guys can take pictures of why you guys are doing this, send it to your chapter directors. This would be great to show the community what we're doing. And then if you're on Instagram, you can tag both chapters. I like the selfie behind. I saw it. Tag both chapters on the post. That'd be great. You know, I actually put a post up earlier. I am very competitive. I personally think, I won't tell you I think which cookie will win, but I want everybody to have fun with this and post it on social media and say this cookie won or that cookie won. Take pictures of you guys doing it so we have some great memories. I'm staying at an aunt's and I'm trying to make these with no measuring cups. Oh, so story. Before we get started, I went to culinary school and my favorite classes of all time were baking. I always loved it, making the fresh breads, making the cookies. And one day I told my professor I was not going to measure anything. Well, long story short, my cake exploded in an industrial oven and I had to stay after class to clean out the ovens. Let's just say 4 hours later, I decided to use measuring cups. So I wish you the best of luck. I hope these cookies don't explode. And if they work, please shoot a picture.
Edgar, you sound like my mom who
I like
never uses measuring cups. She's Italian, and every time I try to get a recipe, she goes, "I just eyeball it. I could feel what's in there."
That's it. All
my
right.
Italian grandmother instructed by smell.
Ooh, I like
You gotta until it smells right.
And I
No
cook by
measurements.
taste.
There you go. It's probably best.
All right, so is everybody ready to move forward? It looks like we're slowing down on the camera here. I got some thumbs up.
I have a question because I'm a little
Yes.
behind. This is Angela. Is the cookie dough supposed to be kind of stiff, or did I overmix it?
The cookie dough can be a little stiff. What we don't want it to be is like really hard to the touch. Almost,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so the consistency is somewhere in between, like, it's almost like a soft Play-Doh. If it's a little bit like a Play-Doh, you're fine. Anything harder than that, then I would go ahead and dump it all out and start again.
Okay, it's a good consistency then. Thank you.
Good. All right. All right, so it looks like we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and start on the whoopie pie. While I'm doing this, I'm hoping that Rich is gonna look up the history of the whoopie pie.
I got it.
All right. So do you have it? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Do you want me to read
Go ahead
it?
and tell us the history before we get started.
So I did not know it. I'm not gonna fool you on that, but a really quick history here. Some say Amish wives invented the whoopie pie from remnants of cake batter and frosting, very similar to the gooey cake. It sounds like it was accident. According to the story, the name originated from the Amish men who, when they found these treats in their lunch boxes, would exclaim, "Whoopee!" Possibly
I had heard that too. Yeah.
possibly the most widely distributed whoopie pies also come from Maine, which is why we're making this.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Well, whoopee, I'm excited because I cheated. I made some earlier. I already had them. They're delicious. So we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and start by creaming together 1 cup of sugar, 2 egg yolks, and half a cup of shortening. So we want to make sure we use egg yolks and not the whole egg, or egg yolks and not the egg whites. God, I just showed the egg whites. Sorry. The egg yolks, so we're going to go ahead and drop those in. Save those egg whites. We're going to use them for the filling. So don't throw away the egg whites. We will use them later. You want to go ahead and add 1 cup of sugar. Got to get a measuring cup here. And Rich, I also sift my sugar.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's something I never did, but I'm totally changing that now.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so 1 cup of, oh, I just dumped it into the flour. I messed up, guys. Hold on, let me get my sugar.
No problem.
Sorry, guys. There's always one.
It's good to see that we're not the only ones that make mistakes.
Hey, everybody makes mistakes.
It is not easy sifting sugar, and Michael did it, but I was just watching his face there. Woof.
So I'll show you my sifter. This is my sifter. Comes from Publix. Has a little handle. Looks like a container. So what? And then what I do is I just turn the handle. I gotta throw this flour out. This is bad. So I turn the handle, and it just comes right out. That's my favorite sifter. Oh yeah, the bakers know.
So do you recommend that over the, I bought one that you just squeeze with your hand. Is that the one you have better with the rotary?
Yeah, it's the same concept, the one that you squeeze with your hand. So this one just has a handle. The reason I use it is because I'm a hemophiliac, sometimes like my hands, like I can get some cramping or, little micro bleeds in my hand from time to time, which is not very often, but I want to make sure that I make it as easy as possible where I can continue to make these goods.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so while that's mixing up, I need to go ahead and remeasure my flour. And guys, I'm from the South where there's super humidity, so I keep my sifter in a Ziploc bag, as you can see.
Edgar, we do the same thing with our great grandmother's sifter.
Those are the
Same
best.
style.
Those are the best.
It's a 5 cup though.
It's almost not. It's about it's nearly 100 years old.
All right, so while that's coming together, I'm gonna go ahead and remeasure my flour and sift it.
Rich and Michael, I don't know if you guys saw, my husband made a brief appearance getting a cocktail. But our favorite HFA ever was out visiting you all, and my husband actually got to go with me on that work trip. It was so wonderful.
Ooh, delicious. Was that Kristen?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
Kristen.
I have gallery view, so I'm like looking
Oh.
around like, where's Waldo? Yeah. Hey, Providence for the win, baby. Come on down. The price is always right.
He wants to go back into Boston again. So
Well, Providence is Boston's cuter sister, who's not quite as well known.
Yeah, my whoopie pies aren't going to make any awards, that's for sure. The Gateway cookies were easier, I think, than the whoopie pies. Mine
Yeah, the
flattened
whoopie
out too
pies
much.
take a little bit of time, but they are delicious.
They flattened out a bit.
That's all
Oh,
right.
the whoopie pies did?
Yeah,
Oh, you overbaked them.
I don't think so. I think it was the plant-based shortening.
Oh, well, I couldn't, I think most people would be kind of sad if I put lard on there.
Yeah, that's why I had to get
Lard,
that. I could not buy lard or shortening.
There you go. Well, so our next step here, we're gonna keep it moving. I'll send you some lard from Florida. We have time. I can get it by like the poundful. What we want to go ahead and do is we want to go ahead in a separate bowl, get your flour, which is 2 cups, your 5 tablespoons of cocoa, which I went ahead and also sifted as well. So we're going to go ahead and just add that right into there. We're going to go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of each of baking soda and baking powder. So we want to go ahead and add just 1 teaspoon of each. Where's my teaspoon? All right. Does anybody remember when they were kids with the science experiments? Right, with baking soda, but it was baking soda, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that could be the next class between Gateway and let's see who can make the biggest mess.
I blocked all memories of science class.
Oh, man. And then what we want to go ahead and do once you add everything, just 2 shakes of salt or half a teaspoon. I do 2 shakes. Go ahead and grab like a fork and mix all this together in your dry ingredients here. So you want to go ahead and just incorporate everything. Doesn't need to be perfect. Just go ahead and stir that flour from the bottom, mix in that cocoa powder. If you are using sweet cocoa powder, your whoopie pies will be a little too sweet. Make sure it's unsweet. So now what we want to go ahead and do is grab our cup of milk that we have measured out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add the ingredients to our our shortening mixture here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off dry, then go wet, dry, wet, dry. Everybody got that?
Mm-hmm.
Did I lose anybody?
No.
It's like little boxes, so. All right. So go ahead and grab like a smaller measuring cup. We're going to go ahead and alternate. So I do about a half a cup of mixture, of dry mixture. We're going to go ahead and turn that on. While that's turning, you can go ahead and add some of your milk. We'll add a lot.
I hand mixed my whoopie pies. Maybe that was the problem.
Oh, did you hand mix it with just like a regular whisk?
No, a spatula and a lot of elbow grease.
Ah, yeah. Make sure to ice that elbow tonight.
Yeah. So do you recommend the mixer then for this too?
I do. So I recommend the mixer. Not only because it's easier, but it incorporates a lot of air into the mixture too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as you can see, guys, what I'm doing is just a little bit of wet, a little bit of dry. Once it incorporates, add the rest of it. And then I always finish with dry, give it a good tap, get it all in there. So while that's mixing up and almost done, what we want to go ahead and do is add our vanilla extract. For the vanilla extract, we are going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So we want to go ahead and add that. There we go, we're good there. Any questions? Bridget, are you the one cooking or is your mom doing all the cooking?
We're doing mother-daughter cooking.
I'm doing work.
We're sharing. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. All right, so we're gonna give this one good mix. And then this consistency should almost look like a frosting. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, mine wasn't like that.
Any questions?
Can I ask another one? I keep asking
Yeah.
them, but I cooked mine on a baking pan that was only silicone. Was it better to use like an insulated cookie sheet and use a Silpat?
So for this specific cookie, I know what you're talking about, the silicone. I actually use just a regular baking sheet, a metal baking sheet, and I grease it.
Okay.
And the
That could be mine just splatted and got flat
yeah,
too.
sometimes that silicone is a little too, it just smears the cookie just a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Hey, Edgar, I got a question.
Only one.
We usually, when I make cookies, I just kind of deferred to parchment for everything.
Yep.
Can you do these on parchment or should we stick with the greased pan?
I mean, you can. You'll see me. I'm gonna get my baking sheet now.
Okay.
For this cookie. Now for the gooey butter cake, I use parchment.
Right.
It's not, it's really a preference.
Okay.
If you want to use parchment, it will work just fine. I would stay away from a silicone only baking sheet right now, because silicone actually what it does is when it doesn't hold the consistency, it'll spread it out.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Okay. I like parchment because you don't have to wash your dishes afterwards.
Amen.
Your baking pan.
Amen. Listen, if they can make a baking pan that I can throw away when I'm done, I'm all about it.
Very smart. Edgar, quick question for you. For those that do not have a KitchenAid mixer, where we have a handmade mixer, is it okay to go counterclockwise and clockwise, or is it better to do one way versus another? Because my wrist is going both ways. Yeah. Or does it not matter?
So for mixing, hold on, let me grab a spatula or a whisk here in a bowl and I'll show you. I'll grab a clear bowl so you guys can see. When you whisk, you want to do a figure 8. So you literally want to make an 8 when you whisk. You guys see that?
Oh, yeah.
So that way you're going clockwise, counterclockwise, and every which way. What you want to do then is as you're mixing, you want to turn your bowl. You don't want to turn your whisk, but you want to turn your bowl. So
that's good to know.
Mix a figure 8 and then turn your bowl.
Awesome tip. You're changing lives here, Edgar.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Just delivered an Oprah moment.
We're finally becoming men or women.
Or just Mrs. Butterworth, whichever.
All right. So how's everybody coming along with those whoopie pies? Good?
Okay, Rich, your husband is killing me there.
Non-stop here.
Hey, Edgar, it's Kristen. I have a
eggnog.
What was that, Kristen?
So I have a different recipe than everyone, and my recipe has baking soda on there twice.
Yeah, it should have been baking powder. I'm sorry, that was from me. Thank you,
so
Rich and Bridget, for catching that. One is baking soda, one is baking powder.
I just almost really screwed up these cookies then. Okay, so one is baking powder and one is baking soda. Thank you.
Yes, no worries.
I'm a little behind, so I'm catching up.
It's a great point, though. If anyone sees anything in whatever printout you have that you're like, I shouldn't be putting grilled chicken into my whoopie pie, please let us know instead of just doing it.
I always copy recipes wrong. So whenever I see them online, not that I look much, but I just assume there could be an error. I think it's good to just, like you said, use your common sense about it. Like no chicken in your whoopie pie.
All right, so thank you for.
Wait, we weren't supposed to have chicken for these recipes?
Uh-oh.
That's the Rhode Island special whoopie pie.
Yeah. Whoopie with chicken here. It's like the New England style of chicken and waffles here.
I'm just kidding.
Rhode Island red whoopie pies.
All right, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna go ahead and put whoopie pies first, okay? The reason is we're gonna have to make the filling for them. So we want the whoopie pies to cool while the gooey butter cakes are cooking. So everybody goes, Edgar, how do you grease the pan, right? I'll be honest with you, I take a paper towel, I take my container or Crisco, and I just smear it on there. Make sure to get every corner. It's okay if it looks a little too much at first because we're gonna do 2 of them. For my whoopie pies, I kind of like to use 2 pans. If you only have 1, it's okay. I like to spread them out a little bit. Although they're a cake cookie, what we want to go ahead and do is give them a little bit of space so the heat gets around it. So also, if you have those professional silicone mats, I'll show you what they look like. You can use those as well. But once again, be very, very careful. If you over bake it with this style of mat, it's just going to flatten out on you. So it won't be this consistency where you can see how nice and thick they are.
Yeah.
It'll be like a super flat cookie. So if you have a scoop, that's the best way to get a consistency on this. If you don't have a scoop, it's okay, I'll show you. So what we want to go ahead and do, this is my extra large scoop, which is about 2 tablespoons. We just want to go ahead and scoop it out like ice cream and just put it right on there. And the thing with these is we have to get them in the oven relatively quickly because we don't want them to flatten out on us either. So I only do 6 cookies per sheet.
Oh, that was
fit 9. Go for it. I've seen it done. If you're using just regular 2 tablespoons, what you want to go ahead and do, and this is where it gets a little tricky. Go ahead and grab yourself like a really big scoop of it. And I'll show you that. Just about like that. And then use the back side of your other tablespoon and just plop it right on there. Go ahead and grab yourself a nice big scoop where it's almost falling off the spoon like it is for me. And then just the back side of the spoon and plop it on there.
Yeah, using the mixer made it, your batter is so much more airy than mine was.
Yes, you're doing.
I've done it by hand. It's not fun, but it does work out. You gotta make sure to do it quicker.
Yeah, and don't use silicone.
And don't use silicone.
Yeah, the consistency of mine does not look like yours.
No, ours does too good, so we're gonna go with it.
That's fine.
I'm sure
Listen,
it tastes great.
The chef never admits his mistakes.
Yes, no matter how bad they look, they'll still taste good.
Exactly. Just close your eyes.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pop these in the oven. We're gonna go ahead and bake them at 350. And what we're gonna go ahead and do is bake them, I say for about 11 to 13 minutes. We'll give them a check here. So go ahead and pop them in your oven. Once you got them on the sheet, make sure to set your timer. I actually just did it for about 13 minutes, guys, is what I put my oven for. So any questions so far? Has like,
No, you're doing a great job of explaining everything.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm gonna go ahead and wash my my container here for my mixer because we're gonna need it one more time. Does anybody have any questions? Live?
Is it okay to taste, or are we gonna get like salmonella?
What happened?
Is it okay to taste the batter, or maybe?
No, it's so I got to give you my professional answer. No, it's not okay to taste it because it has raw egg.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you my I have 2 kids answer. Taste away.
Yep. Well, that's the problem I had with the whoopie pie filling. It said 2 egg whites. I just put some extra vanilla and a little milk in because I didn't want to eat raw egg whites.
So, Rich, do you know why you don't eat raw egg?
No.
Salmon.
So salmonella is actually carried on the shell. It's actually not carried in the egg.
Didn't Rocky drink?
Yeah, so a lot of
people drink raw eggs every morning. Oh.
Yep, a lot of muscle builder, like bodybuilders.
Yeah.
I am not one of. I like my cookies and my.
You're not either.
They will actually put a raw egg in with like their smoothies and things like that.
Yes. I can't even eat a cooked egg, let alone a raw egg.
Maybe for the next NHF, we'll have Rich do a raw egg.
As a fundraiser.
Fundraiser.
Oh goodness.
I'll donate the first $50 to that fundraiser between you.
So
and
instead of the ice bucket challenge, it'll be the raw egg challenge.
Nancy,
My
don't.
husband will win. He used to drink them in college, like for breakfast.
Oh, just the thought of it.
Rich can do the challenge, and then I'll make sure his life insurance is up to date. And it's a wonderful challenge.
All right. Well, I hope the life insurance is to date, because now you got me thinking if mine is up to date. All right. How's everybody doing? Everybody doing all right? This gets a little tricky because we're doing. Oh, I see somebody over there dipping into the batter. Green shirt. Yeah, I see you. I can't see your name, but I see you.
Edgar, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Why with whoopie pies do you use so much shortening versus butter? I mean, I understand for the filling why you might use shortening, but why for the cake part do you use shortening?
So I am a purist when it comes to my recipe. So I look at what our ancestors did, and butter was not readily available, right? Because there was no refrigeration. I like using shortening only because when you see the whoopie pie come out, it's going to give you a little bit of not like a crunch like a peanut, but it'll give you a little bit of texture to that bite. Butter doesn't really give you that texture as where this does. So the main reason is because our ancestors didn't have refrigerators. My reason is because I like to follow the recipes of our ancestors.
Yeah, it's nice to use when you make buttercream decorations because it doesn't melt as much, but I didn't understand it for whoopie pie. So
that's correct.
And also, is it okay if I put red food coloring in my filling to make it red? Okay.
Sure. All I'm saying is I want to see pictures of this.
But it won't hurt
off the recipe. Let's see some pictures.
I'll show you mine now if you can tell me if you can see it or not.
Let's see.
Tell me when you can see it.
I can. Oh no, a little further down. No, I see your utensils. You got to turn. There we go. Ooh, those look good.
Yeah, they're not as high as yours though.
Those look really good. It's okay. It's probably your first time making them, right?
That's true. I'm giving them a Christmas gift.
Piggybacking on what Nancy said, in New England, there's many different flavors: pumpkin, apple, all these things. Can you substitute the cocoa and put apples or like flavoring? Or, how do they do that to make it flavorful?
Yeah. So usually what they do is oils, like almost like an essential oil, like a flavoring oil. I would, if you're going to substitute. I always substitute, if you're going to substitute an ingredient, a dry ingredient for a dry ingredient and a wet ingredient for a wet ingredient, right? So a lot of recipes, you see people substituting like applesauce for some things, but always a dry for a dry and a wet for a wet. Now, do they make dry apple flavoring? I'm pretty sure they do. Somebody in this world has made it, probably made $1 billion off of it. I'm not that guy, right? I'm not that smart either, but if you are going to substitute it, just make sure that you substitute equal wet for wet or dry for dry.
So if you want to do peanut butter, use peanut butter powder instead of cocoa powder. Okay.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
I love peanut butter powder.
All right. So according to my clock, I got about 7 minutes until my these are done. I'm going to go ahead and start making the filling for our whoopie pies, which will be the last thing that we need the mixer for, or a hand mixer. How's everybody doing? Thumbs up?
Good.
So Edgar, I've always heard with like when you're making cookies, you put your cookie dough in the fridge. So like my extra whoopie pie dough that's sitting here, should I put it in the fridge right now?
Yeah, so you can put it in the fridge.
Okay.
Also, the whoopie pie dough, if you actually portion it out on parchment paper, throw it in the freezer. It's good to freeze and then use a couple days later.
I don't have room in my freezer, but yes, that's a great idea.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip the camera. We'll make our filling. Last thing we'll use for the mixer, and then we'll take our cookies out, put our other ones out or in, assemble our first ones, and then start eating. What do you guys say?
Sounds good.
All right. I know we're butting up against time here, so we'll keep it moving. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. All right, so for our filling, what we want to do is 3/4 of a cup of shortening. So we would just want to go ahead and drop that in there. Then we want to go ahead and add 2 cups of confectioner sugar. Once again, for your confectioner sugar, I've actually gone ahead and sifted the confectioner sugar. I sift my dry ingredients for baking. So we're just going to go ahead and drop that in. If you didn't sift it, it's okay. It's not going to be the end. It's just a filling. And then we want to go ahead and add those 2 egg whites from earlier, right? I told you guys to keep the egg whites.
No.
Dump that in. We want to go ahead and add a little bit of vanilla. So for your vanilla, it's going to be 1 tablespoon again. So I'm just going to drizzle a little bit in. I'm going to eyeball this one because I like vanilla. And then always when you add a sweet, you want to add some salt. We'll bring out the flavor. 2 dashes of salt, and go ahead and start this. Now for this, what we wanted to do, we're going to beat this, or we're going to mix this for, the reason is we kind of want it to look like icing, right? Like the vanilla icing you get out of a can.
Yeah.
If you have icing at home, you don't have to make the filling. You can just use icing. Any questions so far?
Really quick, Edgar. I think we mixed this. So we have the shortening, we have the egg whites and the vanilla. Do we put the flour and the confection sugar in now?
Yes, you want to put it all together and just mix it all together.
Gotcha, thank you.
Now, if you want to add food coloring, this is a great time to add food coloring. I know it's the holidays. If you want to wait to the end, what you can actually do is separate the filling into 2 and then add some green and red, and then you can make some holiday whoopie pie.
That's good. When I recopied the recipe, because I like to work from a big sheet, I had 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Is it supposed to be 1 tablespoon?
1 teaspoon. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. I read that wrong. I'm working
okay.
on the sheet here too.
Probably, it's probably great either way.
Yeah. I mean, vanilla extract isn't really strong.
Yeah.
Mess up and add too much, it's okay. All right. How's everybody doing?
Very good.
There we go. Good. So I'll show you guys my filling here. It kind of looks like icing that you get out of a jar. It's that consistency where you can pick up, it doesn't fall. You guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
That's the consistency that we want. Once again, we don't want to overmix this. You can overmix it, but then your filling's going to be a little too light for the whoopie pie. So, or a little too, light, because it's going to incorporate too much air. So
I promise this is my last question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can these be stored? I keep my house pretty cool. Can these just be stored like in an airtight container at room temperature, or do they have to go in the fridge? I did not use the egg whites. I used something else.
So these cookies, since they're homemade and they don't have preservatives, you actually want to go ahead and they're only going to last about 2 days out at room temperature in an airtight container. So
how about a cold back porch?
I don't know the answer to that. All I know is after 2 days, you probably don't want to eat them because they're going to be really.
All right. So refrigerator is best.
Yes. Refrigerator is best for all baking goods.
Okay.
All right. How's everybody doing? We got the filling in. We still got to put the gooey butter cake next. So we're doing good.
I have a question.
Yeah.
About that what do you call it? The egg whites. Do we have to put the egg whites in, or can we leave them out?
For the
whoopie pie filling.
Yeah, you want to incorporate the egg whites because that's what's going to give you a little bit of texture or lift to that filling. If you don't have them, you can always put like if you have heavy cream would work. But I mean, the long story short is you want to just make it like a consistency, like an icing. So egg whites are not necessarily, we're not making like a meringue, but the egg whites is the easiest way to incorporate everything.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. All right, so my cookies are done. I'm gonna go ahead and pop those out of the oven.
One was for whatever.
I'll show you my cookies. You see how big they are?
No, I know, but I had set it aside for that one.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Put in 3/4 of a cup.
So we'll go ahead and pop those out. Make sure you leave the oven on. All right, so for our gooey butter cake cookies now, we're gonna go ahead and take them out of the fridge, your dough. It's in about 30 minutes. As you can see, the dough's kind of a hard consistency now, which is what we want. You guys see that? And then what we want to go ahead and do before we put them in the oven is we're gonna, my timer's yelling at me. We're gonna go ahead and line our baking sheet with parchment paper for this one. If you don't have parchment paper, it's okay. You can use grease again. I like to use parchment paper for this one because as we stated earlier, if I can use it and throw it away for a little cleaning, I'm all about it. You want to go ahead and get yourself a bowl for this. And you want to go ahead and get yourself a little bit of powdered sugar. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and roll the cookies into the powdered sugar before we put them into the oven. For my St. Louis group, or my Gateway group, I know that this is an important part of gooey butter cake is to actually be able to show the powdered sugar on it.
Yes.
So the first time I made it, they didn't look too good, so I had to remake them.
Speaking of gooey butter cake, like whenever like I make gooey butter cake, should I like refrigerate the dough? Because I normally don't. But
No, so for the cookies, for this one, because it's almost like a sugar cookie consistency, you don't have to, or you do, but the recipes I saw for gooey butter cake, you don't put the cake into the fridge. So you're making like a whole cake. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Get my scoop here. How's everybody's cookies coming along? The first batch.
The whoopie pies?
Yeah, how's the whoopie pies coming along?
Looks great.
Ours look
They
great.
flatten out a little bit?
We have a big cake that is one baking sheet right now. They are not individual cookies, but you know what? They're probably gonna taste great.
Who cares?
So Rich, a chef never gives away its mistakes, right?
Oh, I mean,
He made a whoopie pie cake. So
we're gonna literally just put all the cream in the middle and make a
that's
big,
it.
Yeah, or it could be a whoopie pie pie.
There you go. So
I have a
for the gooey
secret
butter
pan.
cake cookie, oh, what was that?
This is my secret whoopie pie pan. I have a secret whoopie pie pan and cookie pan.
Oh. Well, can you send a secret pan? Because I mean, I need a secret pan every once in a while too. So for the gooey
I
butter
can
cake cookie.
send a link. I've sent it to Rich before. I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would love to see that.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
How far apart should we put the balls?
For the gooey butter.
Yes.
So I put, let me see.
I only have two on there so far.
Yeah, so I would move them a little bit further apart because these will actually grow a little bit.
It's chocolate cake.
There you go. Yeah, I would do one on each side and then just do like 6 on a sheet.
Okay.
So what I'm doing here is I'm just taking my scoop, I'm scooping it out like ice cream. This is 2 tablespoons. I'm rolling it into the powdered sugar. Do not be afraid to roll this in the powdered sugar like I was the first time.
Hey, girl, I have another question.
Yeah.
Our whoopie pies don't look like yours. They're not cracked on the top.
Uh-huh.
Does that mean we didn't bake them long enough?
No, so that just means that the air kind of, and I'll show you what my batch kind of looks like here.
Yeah, it's air.
Yeah, so it's just air. It's okay. Whoopie pies are actually pretty difficult to make, believe it or not.
Okay.
It'll take a couple times for you to, get it there, but you'll be fine.
I'm glad you said that
Thank you.
because our ego completely went out the window when we looked at the oven here. So thank you for saying it takes.
You're fine. It's kind of like a souffle. Everybody knows about a souffle, right? Like you don't open the oven, you don't look at it because sometimes they fall.
Yeah.
Same thing with a whoopie pie. So
I lied. I'm going to ask another question.
It's okay.
When mine went and got flat, I wondered, could you make them in like a jumbo muffin pans, the little tins?
Yeah, you can. So
because that way it couldn't go flat.
Yeah. So you can do that. That's not a problem.
Okay.
You can make it any which way. You can make it into a cake. You can make it into a muffin pan. We just want to adjust our baking times, right? So if you're going to put it into a muffin pan, because it's kind of enclosed for your baking, make sure to go ahead and adjust your time by like a few minutes higher. Right?
Higher, okay.
So, all right. So everybody's moving along. This is my gooey butter cake rolled in plenty of powdered sugar or confectioner sugar. I'm throwing it in the oven. 13 minutes is what we're looking for. When we bake these, all we're looking for is for our tops of the cookies to not look wet anymore. I know it sounds weird. You're gonna see it. When about 13 minutes is done, you'll take a look at it. If the tops of it look like wet cake batter, your cookies are not done. Hey, Rich.
Yes.
How much for you? You see how flat they are?
Okay.
Okay. Well,
mine flattened out too. So.
Oh yeah. Well, that good. That makes me feel better.
Want to see ours?
Let's see.
They look like them they make corn muffins that are square, like rectangular. They'll taste just as good once you cut them.
Yeah, no, they're good.
So it's all right. Listen, this is all fun, and you guys have the recipe, so you guys can make it again.
Yeah.
So
we won't be opening up a whoopie pie shop anytime soon. That's for sure.
There you go. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip the camera over because the last parts are pretty easy here. Hold on. Why is my camera not working? There we go. So hi everybody. It's nice to see everybody. Look at that. Amazing what happens when you turn the camera around. So what we want to go ahead and do for this part is pretty simple. Once your whoopie pies are completely cool, mine are not cool yet, right? We just want to go ahead and take that cream or that filling that we use. We want to take a spatula. We want to put a good helping in there. We want to make it look like one of those mega stuffed Oreos. I know people like Oreos around here. I know I'm not the only one. Yeah, I see some smiles. Oh, look at that, Jen. That looks good. Just go ahead and put a good helping on there. Remember, this only made about, Jen, how many cookies is that? 9, 10? Looks like 10.
Let me see.
Oh, you're still on mute there, Jen.
The boys ate about 3 of them. So
Yeah.
I would say 3, 6, 9, 10 are left.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, mine made 10 too. Also.
There you go. So just keep that in mind when we're putting the frosting on there. I call it frosting. I'm from the South. It's frosting. It's frosting. Frosting in there. Just make sure that you have enough for all the cookies. And then when the gooey butter cake cookies come out, Let those cool, and then you don't have to do anything to those. You can actually put just a little bit of powdered sugar over the top.
You don't bake the filling for the pie, right?
No, you don't bake the filling for the pie because it'll melt.
Okay.
So a question came in, why can you eat egg whites but not the yolk? I know you answered about, is it because of the egg shell is on the egg whites?
No, so you can actually eat both. Okay, first and foremost, I do not recommend eating raw eggs. That's my
legal disclaimer.
Yeah, legal disclaimer. What happens is crack the egg, like when you go to crack the egg, it touches a little bit of the shell. Salmonella is so microscopic that it just takes less than a grain of salt for it, the salmonella cell, to touch that egg. To get the salmonella out, you actually cook the egg, right? So that's why they say don't eat raw eggs. The salmonella is actually on the outside of the shell. Chickens are not actually, has anybody had chickens before? Let me ask that. Yeah, I have a few hands there. So as we know, chickens are not actually the cleanliest of animals. That's why they say don't eat raw eggs, because although the shell is washed, there could still be salmonella on the outside of that shell.
So is it better to wash your eggs before you crack them open? That's what I do.
I mean, you can. I always wash all my produce and things that come into the house anyway.
Yeah.
That's just me. I've always been that way, and I've never stopped being that way. You see some amazing things that happen, or some safety measures that should happen that don't happen. And I never want to risk my family or myself to be sick over one extra step. All right, how are we doing? I see people slowing down. I like this. This is a good sign.
Piper.
Yes.
Would this be is this a good time? Like, I'd love to get a group photo of everybody.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do we wait and hold up our cookie?
Well, why don't we do a group photo like this first, and then people can submit their pictures in.
I like that. Definitely take photos of yourself, because the photos on Zoom are good, but the photos at home are even better.
Here's my red whoopie pie.
Why are you naked?
What? I heard that one. Where's the red whoopie pie?
Right here.
Oh, that looks
that's
amazing.
pretty.
They're little mini ones, though. I think my scooper was smaller than yours.
I love it.
That's actually better. That way it makes more.
A little
and you don't
pinker
eat as
than
much.
red, but that's okay.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a pretty pink, hot pink almost.
All right, are we gonna take this picture, or did you already take it? Did I not know? I want to make sure you get my good side.
So is everyone gonna hold up their whoopie pie? Is that what we're
they should have been ready, but if they're ready,
I could do that.
Hold up whatever you got.
Yeah, exactly. Just hold up whatever you have. A kid, a pan. All right, ready? Everyone hold, and we will take a screenshot here. 1, ready, smile, 2, 3. One more. Awesome.
Awesome. All right, so according to my oven, I got about another 7 minutes on my gooey butter cake cookies. So while we're waiting here, I don't like dead time, and I like to hear myself talk, according to my wife. So I'll give you guys a little bit of my background. I was actually diagnosed with hemophilia A when I was 10 years old. The reason my hemophilia was not diagnosed when I was born or at birth was because I was born in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Although Paradise, at the time, there wasn't a lot known about bleeding disorders. So I had a lot of issues growing up. I had a lot of bruising. We had the equivalent of Department of Children's and Families called to the house multiple times. In 1989, I survived Hurricane Hugo, which was at the time the worst hurricane to ever hit any territory of the United States.
Yeah.
I survived it in the U.S. Virgin Islands. After that, my parents said they had enough. We came to the United States. For 6 years here in the States, I always had issues with bruising and DCF being called to the house again. I was blessed with my first ever debilitating bleed, as I say, and I say blessed, at the age of 10. where they rushed me to the hospital. And when the ER doctor went to remove what should have been clear fluid from the ankle, according to him, it was blood. From that moment on, my life changed for the better. I've done some amazing things with my life. And even things like this, where I'm able to share, my journey when I learned in culinary school, and just share a little bit of my life story with everybody. It's been a journey. It really has, right? And I always say that everybody that I come across is part of my family. So everybody on this call, you are part of my family. You guys are actually in my home. So if you guys are ever in St. Augustine, Florida, look me up. I always have an open door policy. For my 21 and above, I always have a nice bottle of wine on the counter. Sometimes it's a $5 bottle of wine, but I won't tell you the cost of it. It's so good. For my younger group, I always like to share anything that I can share with you guys. I'm not going to get into product. I'm not going to get into dosing. The only thing I'm going to tell you guys is listen to your parents, listen to your HTC docs. They know what they're talking about. And don't be afraid to learn, right? Learn as much as you can. I always say you should always learn what you're putting into your body. And medications that keep us alive into our bodies, you should know what's going into it. And that's my 30-second elevator speech. I don't like to speak too much more about that, but if you have any questions, you guys can look me up, call me. Rich and Bridget have my information. For the parents out there, if you ever need someone to talk to a teenager that's being a knucklehead like I used to be, I'm a good example of it. I was one of those teenagers that didn't want to listen to my doc and my parents. So I've been there. I've walked that journey. Those gooey butter cake cookies look great, Jen. I see them. But if you guys have any questions, please let me know.
Yeah, Edgar, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kids on here with their parents. What advice would you give them as they are not just going through a pandemic like we all are, but with infusions, with all of the things right now? Is there any advice that you have?
Yeah. So my biggest advice, and I said it just a second ago, is listen to your medical professionals, listen to your parents as your kids. Don't miss infusions, right? I know that sometimes can be difficult on us, especially young adults. And I say us because I'm an adult. I know some of you guys are going to laugh. I got some gray hairs. It's okay. I still consider myself a young adult at heart. But, body now, so you don't have to go through the struggles I'm going through right now.
That's okay.
I've had plenty of surgeries. I've had plenty of things where if I would have just taken care of myself at a younger age, I would have never went through. And that, to me, if I can go back to like my 13-year-old self and tell myself anything, I would say, don't miss an infusion, and always tell your parents when you're having problems, right? When it anything to do with hemophilia or life, and just talk about it, because what I went through, I know somebody else has gone through it, and other people have gone through on this call. The one thing I love about our community, specifically, the one thing I love is that we're always very open with each other, right? And we always can find somebody that has walked that path before us that can share their experiences. So if I can be that resource, you just let me know. I'm always here. You guys can call me night and day, email me, whatever it is. I'll put my phone number in the chat here. You guys can text me, and I appreciate it.
Awesome.
I think it'd be a great idea to have more Zoom things with like teenagers or tweens and younger kids to talk. Like I'm 66. Like I made it pretty far for someone with, von Willebrand's type 2B. You have hemophilia. Like there's a lot of people who you can still have a lot of fun in life. You just have to be smart about it.
Sure.
I think it would be good for teens and tweens to have someone to talk to other than their parents about it.
For sure. And I can attest to this. I know Bridget and Rich do an amazing job in their communities. Guys, we have some great chapters across the country, but if you chapter, I will tell you, you guys have two of the best executive directors in the country. And I can say that because actually my job before the pandemic was I traveled all around the country, and I did events in every part of the country. And I'll tell you that Bridget and Rich not only do a great job, but they care about us. They care about our well-being. Oh, shake the Santa hat. I see it. But you know, I can tell you that hands down, you guys are some of the luckiest community members in the country. All executive directors are great, but there's very far and few that go above and beyond, and Rich and Bridget definitely do that. I want to thank them specifically.
You'll get your check later.
Here, here.
No,
Hey, Bridget and Richard.
Yay.
Well, Rich is my buddy. I adore him. So we work very good together. Thank you. That was nice, Edgar. And you've done a great job. I appreciate all of yours.
Yeah, absolutely. Edgar, for those that are a little impaired with baking, could you, maybe we have a twin out there that this happened to. So we may have missed the baking powder or baking soda because this thing is crumbling. So can you tell? I mean, this is what happens.
See, can you make yourself as, hold on, let me see. I got you in gallery view. Let's see. Oh, there we go.
So when we pick it up, it doesn't even stay together. I'm thinking it's a baking powder or baking soda that we missed.
Yeah, something's missing.
Yeah, you missed it. It probably is the baking powder that you missed.
Okay.
Powder is more of a gluing agent.
All right. Well,
in our
They'll
defense,
they'll be ooey gooey whoopie pies.
yeah.
Listen, here's what you can do. You ready? I'm gonna give you guys a secret. So take all of that you did right there, chop it up, mix it all together, and make it like a, there you go, yeah. Like a dirt pie.
He's being silly.
Anyway, we were cooking the Mario Andretti, so we were going pretty fast.
Yes.
We'll get
That's
Hang
fine.
on.
I want the biggest one. What is
All right, so
that?
according to my timer, my gooey butter cakes should be
Look at me.
done. Let me take them out
Go like
before
this,
I burn down the house.
All right.
Oh, that's really good.
That's really good.
Oh, it's hot. Hot. I want to show you guys this. Let me flip the camera here. Oh, a little warm. Don't do this, but can you guys see this right here? You guys see that?
There's crackle. They crackle at the top.
Yeah. So what you want to look for is that the tops are not shivering wet. You see how they kind of have a dull look to them?
Yeah.
That's what you want to look for. You don't want to overcook these cookies. Probably need about another minute. They're still a little too jiggly, but we want to give them that gooey consistency. Ooh. And Rich, I expect you to redeem yourself on those whoopie pies.
oh boy. Given what's happening in the oven, I'm not sure we can. I think we missed the baking powder again.
It went into something, so I don't know where it went.
Yeah. Gosh. Okay.
It's really good.
It's really good.
Oh, is it good?
Just put it in a bowl, put some kind of like caramel sauce or chocolate sauce on it, throw some whipped cream, you'll be fine.
Ice cream.
Yeah,
This
ice
is
cream.
good. Really
Yeah.
good.
You know who I haven't heard from is Bridget. Trudy. She's not paying attention.
They're focused, Edgar.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Sharps, if I spotlight you, can you show everyone what you guys did with your whoopies?
Yep.
Whoa, look at that thing.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh.
Is that sprinkles?
Yep.
That's amazing.
Wow. Look at that height too and width.
Wow.
We definitely need pictures of that.
Yes.
If that hair was in Rhode, if that height was in Rhode Island, that'd be a nice set of hair, and you'd be.
Oh man. All right. How's everybody coming along? I think the cookies should almost be done here.
Yep.
The Sharp family's done. They are done. You guys go ahead and eat. Don't wait for us.
Okay, Edgar, I have a question. Not over these cookies though. Over
Okay.
different. I always tend to get flat chocolate chip cookies.
Okay.
How do I prevent that?
So,
I've tried putting, I've put the dough in the refrigerator. I keep adding flour.
So
taking away flour.
Usually that's over mixing.
Okay.
So, over mixing. So with chocolate chip cookie dough, you just like at the very end, what I like to do when I incorporate the last ingredients is I actually just use a spatula and I just fold it in and I fold it into itself, right? Because chocolate chip cookie dough, there's so much sugar in there that it's very easy for it just to go. So I'm pretty sure that's what's happening to you. Now, on the other hand, you can be like a professional chef. And what we say is they're not flat, they're just chewy, right? You gotta make sure it's a little soft, a little chewy. And those are the best that you can put some warm ice cream on top.
Ooh, yep.
Yeah.
Make cookie sandwiches.
Yes. All right. So my gooey butter cake cookies are done.
My gooey buoy. Gooey butter cookies are bigger than your gooey butter cookies, Edgar.
Think so?
Oh no, I don't know. Yours are pretty big.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. Are we gonna have a gooey butter cake cookie off?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ooh, I think we are. I think when everyone's done, we're gonna spotlight everyone, and we want to see what you got.
Oh yeah, I like that. Guys, be very careful taking stuff out of the oven. Don't be like me that just burned myself a little bit.
Do you want to make this? No.
All right. Hey, Rich, if you want to, you can put us all back in gallery.
Okay.
Unspotlight me.
All right.
There we go.
There you go, guys.
So far, did you guys like this so far? Is this something that kind of broke up the COVID-ness, as I say, right? As you can tell, I don't like to do programs that are just like blah, 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 blah. Although they're important, I like to do hands-on. So, oh, look at the baby. She just woke up.
Just by a show of hands, who would do something like this again? All right, Edgar, next week.
Rich, I don't know about every week. We might gain a few extra pounds.
Yeah.
We could do a standing rib roast.
Yeah.
Oh.
We could do a healthy demonstration. I know you do Taco Tuesday with some other chapters, right?
Oh, I do. So we can do some tacos.
Let's do homemade pizza.
Yum.
Homemade pizza is good. I can teach you guys how to do the dough, but then it has to rest. Give it a few hours.
Yeah.
So.
Get it a beauty rest. Our cookies are a little bit jiggly.
Okay.
So what,
I am too. So don't worry about it. There's nothing total jiggly.
Yeah, we have a plastic surgeon's office downstairs though. So we're getting there. Shall I leave them in a little bit longer?
I would leave them in for no more than 2 more minutes. Once they start looking dry,
yep.
Right? It's going to be a little jiggly, but these cookies, remember, you want the gooiness of it.
Fabulous. All right, best things are jiggly, so I'll get rid of
That's right. I always tell people, I had the best gym salesperson in my life. I went to the gym and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to join. He got me to join. And he was like, hey, when am I going to see you? I said, you'll see me again. It's been 3 years. I've been paying for it. I haven't gone, but he did sell me the gym membership.
Yeah. Well, you saw him in the aisle at the grocery store, so that's good. You saw him at least.
Yeah, exactly. But not at the gym.
Yeah. Whatever. But you saw him with your friend named Jim, so that counts.
Don't let those cookies overbake. It's been about 45 seconds.
I have a question.
Yep.
If it's still like liquidy on top, that means we need like a couple more minutes, right?
Yeah. So no more than 120 seconds or 2 minutes at a time.
Okay.
So actually make it all the way
Mine's
through.
on stoneware, so I think that might make a difference.
Okay. So what you can, so what you can do is very, very carefully turn your broiler on to.
I think I just made.
Actually, no. Give it 2 minutes and let me know how it looks. Let's try that first.
Okay.
I don't want to tell you to turn your broiler on because you're going to get caramelized gooey butter cake cookies, which although it sounds delicious, might burn.
You're talking to someone who's never turned their broiler on, so that I'm not going to try tonight for the first time.
Edgar, I have a question. So I pulled these out. Can you see them?
Yep.
Oh, they're cute with the green.
Well, they're cute with the green, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they don't look wet, but they're really soft. Is that right?
Yeah, so once they start cooling, like these were almost like too soft to take out. Once they start cooling, they'll get firmer.
Okay.
Keep it soft.
Thank you. All right.
So, did you guys take your cookies out over there looking at the screen? I'm watching you. Oh, look at those. Those look real good.
Kristen, did you put like food coloring in yours? Is that green?
Yeah. Yes, she did.
I did green food coloring, and for my fellow Theta that's on the call, I used glitter, gold glitter around the edges.
Oh, that's nice.
Love it.
Do you say
fancy
fellow Theta?
I have a sorority sister that happens to be on the call. Yes.
That's me, by the way. So
Yeah.
Phi Beta, there, love you. So it's.
Oh, let's see your cookies. You're waving that pan. What do they look like?
I know these are like these are.
Those look good.
No, those look good.
NEHA, baby. These are real nice.
I like those. Those look real good.
I think
burn yourself now. You're holding it a little too long.
Sorry?
I said, don't burn yourself and don't let them fall out.
Really?
I'm getting a nice and warm. I think I rolled the balls a little big, but that's all right.
That's fine.
Learning lesson, but they smell delicious. So
They're really good. They're very gooey.
All right. So, oh, those look good. I see, is it Marie, Destiny Marie? I see it. Yeah, I see it. It looks good.
That's Maddie D.
Maddie B looks great.
But
I'll go get mine.
very yummy. We approve.
I love that we combined two chapters. This is not only a dream of Rich and Bridget's, but this is like.
I don't know how to do this.
My whoopie pie came out real good. It's not too cookie. It's not too cake. Here it is.
Oh, you guys did
great.
I had an odd one, so I'm just eating it. It's really good.
Good.
It looks good.
Good.
So we made a huge mistake while making our whoopie pies. I thought I had parchment paper out. I instead had wax paper. So there was a little fire almost happening in the Let's just say that batch went in the trash can, and then I overmixed the icing and it completely separated. Edgar, I'll send you a picture of it later.
That's perfect.
You saved us from the fire.
hair.
Now we know you can't substitute wax paper for parchment paper.
We get a selfie with all that.
Baby's
Ooh.
Kate, I see the little one eating it.
Yeah, he likes the icing, not so much the whoopie pie. So he's
That's fine. It's the little victories in life.
Kate, then he would love this.
Oh my God, look.
Kristen, I see the cookies.
I don't think that I did them right. They're just a little bit too big.
No, I think so I think you put too many cookies on the sheet. That's all.
Okay, but are they done?
Yeah. Are they wet? I can't see. I mean, are they like glistening on top? Are they wet or are they dull on top dry?
They're like glistening a little bit.
Okay, put them back in the oven for about another minute.
Okay. This is terrible. I'm awful.
No, listen. Once
practice.
We admit to our mistakes.
Oh, I have lots of them. All right, awesome. Okay.
Mine come out good.
All right, so I think it's time for Kristen Marima to sing a holiday song for us. This is
my goodness
of the Zoom. So
I do have a microphone that I bought specifically for these virtual programs that's gold. So we also do a bleeding disorder family feud program, but it's in my bedroom. So I can't sing without it. Unfortunately, Edgar, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, that's my reason I won't sing too.
If you join one of our family feud programs, I do the da-da-da. So yeah.
Is that the Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Is that what I just saw? The Carlton?
Fun fact, when I was a Mizzou summer welcome leader, we all had a name tag and I was Kristen's Carlton's. And I had a picture of Carlton from Fresh Prince on my name tag. So for 3 months, people all around Mizzou wore my name tag. Yeah, random. Random fun fact.
There you go. Well, Rich and Bridget, I don't have anything else.